For more on this, we're joined by Steve Keen. He's a visiting scholar at the University of Amsterdam. Welcome back to TRT World, Steve. Now, with growth stagnant at 0.1% and unemployment on the rise, is the Bank of England acting too late to prevent a possible recession?
Well, the recession has been caused partly by the fiscal policy of the government. This is the ridiculous thing about the way in which all Western governments are managing their economies. They believe that government debt is dangerous and therefore they shouldn't spend more than they bring back in taxation. That's a conventional belief that 90% of economists believe, and that's why authorities like the Bank of England and the Treasury do that. But when you do the accounting, it's completely wrong. The government should be running a deficit which creates fiat money that's part of the monetary power that enables the economy to generate growth. So the policies they're following are exact opposite of what is necessary, and there's no way that sticking to these policies of government austerity, which frankly is what Reeves is doing despite her attempt to say it's not austerity, austerity is what's causing the low growth.
And with the bank's 2% target in sight for April, what underlying factors could still derail this timeline?
Well, the government's derailing its own timeline. This is the point I'm trying to make. By emphasising budget cuts, which is the entire focus of Reeves' chancellorship, she's reducing the amount of money the government is creating, which is meaning there's less money in people's pockets in the UK, which means they spend less, which means the economy grows less. It is counterproductive economic policy, and we're seeing the outcome of it now. Reeves came in talking about being the growth chancellor. The entire performance is being stagnation instead, and it's because she's following the same script as the Tories, which is why Labor is losing so badly in the polls to the other parties. The UK, whether they know it or not, the UK public has had enough of austerity. It's been going on for 20 years virtually. It hasn't worked. That's the problem, not what the Bank of England is doing.
So could a drop in borrowing costs actually be enough to revive consumer confidence as job losses keep mounting?
It could, because the real way in which these interest rates crush people is by putting up their mortgage payments if they have floating interest rates on their mortgages. And that means they have less to spend, and that's what crushes the economy and therefore causes, to some extent, causes inflation to reduce, so long as that inflation is homegrown. Now, the UK is such a major importer that it's importing a lot of its goods in the first instance. So what the British government does has nothing to do with what those prices are being set at. That's more international factors, including the exchange rate. And all this work is, again, it's applying a textbook model of the economy to an economy that has never resembled the textbook in the very first place.
And with the mix of cooling inflation and a visibly weakening economy, force Chancellor Reeves to rethink her fiscal strategy or not?
I don't think it will. It should force her to rethink it because it clearly isn't working, and the popularity of Labor has plunged while these policies have been carried out. You would hope she would finally realise maybe what my instructors are telling me about how the economy functions was wrong, but she shows no sign of doing that. So I think this is more likely to see the end of the Labor Party dominating UK politics rather than a change of direction by their Chancellor.
Professor Steve Keen from the University of Amsterdam. Great to have your thoughts. Thank you.